Thank you for joining us on another edition of Eyewitness Reports on Channels Television. I am Jomi Otaigwe. Afraid of being sacked by flood, residents of Abaranje community in Igodo, Ikotun area of Lagos State appealed to the state government to fix Potoku Canal before the return of heavy rains. Details of these and more in a moment. The absence of a proper drainage system and a blocked canal is causing anxiety among residents of Abaranje community in Lagos State. Their cry for help became loud after a little rainfall made it clear that they need to prepare for the worst.
A sloppy and rough path leads to Abaranje, a quiet community in Ikotun Igondo local council development area of Lagos State. The roads may seem manageable when they are dry, but the rains make it difficult for motorists to drive through. Perhaps the absence of good roads and drainage constitute what is more worrisome for the people: flood. Eyewitness pictures of a pool of water taken shortly after a brief downpour early in February speaks more of the large amounts of water that overflows the streets whenever it rains. Within the area is a canal stretching 8 kilometers. Potoku Canal is the longest in Lagos State. It serves as a collection point for 18 communities with an estimated population of about 3 million between Igondo in Alimosho and Obadore in Ojo local government area. The Abaranje section of the canal is narrow and shallow, unable to contain the volume of rainwater in the area. The blockade is further worsened by water hyacinth and the indiscriminate dumping of refuse washed from other parts of the state. The aftermath of heavy downpour results to an overflow that runs into homes and other properties. Water marks on the wall show that houses without high and solid foundations are mostly affected.
As of April 2019, they came for the clearance, but last year we didn't see them, and it was a very big havoc on our community. So this year now, just the first minor rains that fell, almost every community around here were on the run. So we were afraid that if by the time the full rainy season will come on, almost nobody will be living around here.
Wall fortifications and wooden bridges linked to houses are some of the steps taken by the residents to stay safe from flood during the rainy season.
Like we put it in our letter to the state government the other times, whenever it rains, especially the last one that was so serious, we have a lot of damages that worth millions of nairas here. Schools cannot open again. Our children cannot go to the schools. They cannot cross to the other side. Majority of them that go to that place. Some people that own shops here, they cannot open. You that is working, you cannot go to your various offices. Properties inside is, because of this rain, the value is reducing. In fact, it's a serious issue. To extent, some people they put their house for sale now because of that bitter experience. And you know, to build house these days, you know what it means. Now to be living the house that worth millions because of canal, it doesn't worth it.
We have experienced loss of life here. I think that was in 2012, June precisely. One man named Akim, you know, it was exactly in the other point where you stand the other time, that he's trying to remove one of his belongings that is being taken by the flood. Before he knew it, water swept him away, and nobody is able to rescue him. I think after 2 days, when the water go down, subsided, and it's the fire brigade officers that came and they searched for him and they found the dead body somewhere around up there, you know. And some other things like that. We have lost a lot of things, our properties and our belongings, a lot of them has been damaged by the flood water.
The challenge calls for a lasting intervention from the Lagos state government.
For like 8 years now, we have been begging, we have been writing series of letters to the government. Though there are some that they've honored, it's through our effort, the letters that we are writing and some political wish that made them to be coming. But whenever they comes, it's always two years intervals, which is not helping. If they drag this canal now, in the next 3 months, if you come around, it will look as if nothing has been done at all. That is why my people are talking about the wideness and the depth of the canal itself. And the final solution is for the government to come to our aid to continue and complete the work, the good work they've started at the at the entrance of Potoku. That final slabbing is what we are praying for.
We really need a permanent solution that will help us a lot. That is by, first and foremost, expanding the canal and deepening it, and most importantly, slabbing it. The slabbing will bring the permanent solution to it. And the opening where it enters, it joins with the Abaranje River, that is where the major problem is. As I'm talking to you now, that place is totally blocked up. Blocked. That as soon as the water hits there, it starts flowing back. It's not the canal even itself, it's the flowing back of the water, the flood, that comes from other channels that connected the canal is what the major problem is.
The Residents Association had resorted to self-help initiatives to clear the canal.
We build ourselves, we contribute money, we construct all this and some other things. Somebody will enter this water, fleet these places with chemicals to weaken the grass, then weed it, we remove all these debris for water to be able to flow. We have suffered so much here. This canal have removed a lot of houses. They have chased away a lot of occupants of this area to different places of abode. Many people ran away from here because of this water, because of what this canal is costing us. So we are pleading the government, if they can be helping us in dredging this canal every year to enable us live in our various houses.
The State Office of Drainage Service is aware of the situation and has constructed a concrete line where the canal started in Igondo, although with garbage in it. The Permanent Secretary says extending it to Abaranje is not possible. The topography will impede the kind of intervention expected from the residents.
Potoku is a natural channel. Upstream of that area, we have done the concrete lining, more like a collector. But the lower part, which is low line, is in its earth form. And people building around this area are actually very low lying. But there is water already on the surface. So digging does not add any volume to it. Rather, it is the water that the river downstream that determines the piezometric height of the water in the canal. Government has a role to play. They have a role to play. They need to stop dumping refuse in the channel. The refuse didn't get there by itself. The residents in the area dumped it. You saw the refuse. Residents dumped it, not the government. When they are constructing, you need to elevate the ground, raise your houses above the water mark. The flood didn't just start yesterday. There has always been flooding in that area because it's a low-lying wetland. People should learn to get the proper approval for development in a wetland. Okay, we should not incur into the wetland. But since they've been there, we will go and clean the filth, the rubbish in the channel, and the vegetation as best as we can. But like I said earlier, it will not rule out possibility of flooding when there's heavy rainfall.
Despite several warnings, some residents still take the risk of building houses within the right of way of the canal.
the most fundamental advice is for them to protect their lives and their property. If they have the means to improve on what they have by creating proper elevation, raising their land to a good height to prevent flooding. We've always advised people that if you want to go into a wetland area, come and seek advice from drainage services. There's a document, there's an approval that we give to people that are building in low-lying areas, drainage clearance. It tells you that, it gives you the condition for you to be able to build in such low-lying areas. Number one, it tells you to stay away from the right-of-way of the canal. Don't build within the right-of-way. It will tell you the height you're supposed to build. In the same vein, it considers the need for secondary collectors in the catchment. Because it's not only the canal that is important, but there is a need for you to provide some secondary collectors that will collect, rainfall, storm runoff from the catchment, from the area, that will now bring it into the bigger canal. So when we're building, you need to plan the community to give room for this stormwater infrastructure. So if this can be done, yeah, they can still live there. But there needs to be these engagements for us to really plan with them.
Clearing of canals is an annual ritual for the Office of Drainage Services. Like Potoku, the office is already cleaning some channels across the state in preparation for the rains.
As I'm talking to you now, Mr. Governor is considering approving our program for 2021. So it's something we did in 2020, we were out there, we did some cleaning exercises. 2021, we'll be doing some more. So it's a daily thing. We're always cleaning. So we can't, as I'm facing you, I'm backing someone else. So the ones I did last year, I won't do this year again. I'm going on to do some other areas. So there are needs all over the state that we're trying to pretty catch up on and make sure that we're able to render service according to what is, available funding for the exercise. So definitely, yeah, we'll be rolling out, our usual operation for 2021 in the very once we have the green light from our principal.
For now, residents are left with the solution preferred by the Office of Drainage Services and self-help efforts, while hoping for a long-term, sustainable intervention.